The next part I wanted to get into was the fact that, as you can see, I just wanted to let you know that I just wanted to let you know that what's going on is I'd rather just let you know what happens with my dreams. Sometimes I gotta talk to you through dreams, and the way the Lord communicates through dreams is messages into images and symbols of interpretation and through meanings. But the thing is the fact that oftentimes through parables and stuff like that, it doesn't often make a lot of sense. Parabologies don't really make a lot of sense until after you wake up or until you ask Him. So God will eventually reveal to you the meaning of your dreams, but it takes a while sometimes. So instead, sometimes you might just want to live it. But the best way you can do is one of the things I'm doing is teaching people the word. And so I'd rather just teach people how to live life in faith. But what I do need to let you know is this. I believe that when it comes to Christ, I've had quite a few dreams on these things. So excuse me about my details here, because they've been from quite a few years ago. And also, it wasn't declared to me that not all the wordings are exact, but they do indeed match pretty well what's going on. So I'm just going to explain what's going on with today, I think. Experience and relativity. And I know it sounds strange, but yes, sometimes when it comes to experience and relativity, they oftentimes come to points where they don't make sense. Life oftentimes beats us down, with a hard test, or maybe an annoying parent, or maybe a stubborn sibling of some kind, and things get really challenging. And so basically, if someone's like a brick wall, or someone who's a nihilist, it's make everything out to be black and demeaning, or a pessimist, and someone who just thinks outright that they only matter so much because life doesn't mean much anyway, or someone that just thinks that life isn't of much meaning, malarkey, and then it's just that when it comes to walking, it doesn't matter exactly what you do. He's going to depreciate everything. Everything's depreciated. Nature existence is that, and life is disappointing. So what does it mean? They'll just give up, right? That's what mean people say, and unkind people say, and darkened people say. And the darkened and the meaningless end up coming out and saying like that, that you don't necessarily have to walk in faith. So what does it mean? It's all going to end. Just live your life best you can and just do whatever you want. That's not right, because you are left with memories when you die. And so you want to go to heaven with good memories. One of the best things says is to just, how do I say this? In peace, righteousness, peace and go right. Go straight with good memories. And so it's something like that. It's just something wild about that. To go with good memories. You want to go in life with good memories. You don't want to pass away with depressing memories. You don't want to die knowing, even if you were to fade away, that oh no, what did I do in my life? You want, if you were afraid away, the last thing you'd be left on to is something wholesome. And so that's what's pointless about it. You would have nothing to hold on if you'd fade away, because you wouldn't be able to hold on. Your fist would be let go, and you wouldn't even have a consciousness to begin with. There is hope in Christ, because He created you to be eternal and everlasting. He created you to live forever in perpetuality with Him. But even though you cannot necessarily exist beyond spiritual death without Christ Jesus and going through the cross, you are indeed an eternal spirit. That's why you must believe in Him. Because He will indeed put you out of somewhere else. If you don't want Him in your life, He'll just put you out somewhere else where there is an absence of Him. Not because He's cruel, because even if you do all the right things, if you really don't want God in your life, you just want fun things, you got to understand this. What you're really trying to look for is for whether or not you want God in your life. And if you don't, then you will go to hell. But not because He's cruel, just because your soul's not going to make it to heaven. And at the end of the day, He's not going to force you to be with Him. It's just going to be a place in absence of Him. And so it's just, that's what the problem is. People think God's cruel. He's not. They're just going to do that because, He doesn't want to force Himself on you. He doesn't want to make you have to be trained and drilled into the idea that you have to follow Him. I used to think that. I used to think we were basically slaves. And in my old religious days, I thought that we really didn't have freedom. And that, yikes, of the two choices, I guess God's the better one. But that's what I thought as a kid, not now. And so I understand that, it's not like God's trying to braze the idea and rub out of you the idea of freedom or trying to diminish your ideas of human liberty. He gave you liberty to begin with. He is the God of liberty. He literally calls Himself a God of liberty. The whole thing is that it is a whole bunch of malarkey what the negativists talk about, about life is, diminished and, it's all dark and dreary, and He's going to head into a dark, deep pit full of railroad tracks and, of never endingness and just depression. And, they're just going to fall into this deep chasm. It doesn't mean anything what they say. It's not life doesn't mean anything. It's what they say. Listen to it closely. They know life has a meaning, but some of them just don't want to admit it. They're just sad about their mistakes, but others really do feel bad, and they haven't been told to the light of the world yet. That's why we teach them the gospel, because we love them. Okay? And so it's just like, some people just want to think, oh, life is not enthusiastic to be about. It's nothing really amazing or significant. So why should I care? It's not significant or special that we create here and we come to exist in this world. What does it mean anyway? You know? And so it's just at the end of the day, it's not like we're a meaningful existence. We're not necessarily very important, or, that like come out into this world unimportant and just, we might not be very big enough or matter too much, we're not very meaningful. It just kind of creates, just kind of want about, do whatever, just kind of respect each other, have kids, have relationships, and, get to have fun for friends, party, I guess get to spend time, think about the universe's questions in our own life, and get to contemplate our own spiritual matters, and then afterwards just die and go in a pit, and that just doesn't make sense. Why would we be concerned about spiritual matters? A pure physical entity would be an organic automaton. It doesn't matter how good he looks or how complex he is. A robot is a robot, an AI is an AI. The scary part of AI is that it lacks a soul. And even then, people even have to realize, if an AI, one of the most complicated beings in existence, lacks a soul, and a lower being cannot lift a being, create a being of higher intelligence, unless the being of higher intelligence imposes a higher intelligence upon that being, then what you're left with is the idea that God can only give things higher intelligence, which means outright that not only can we not be simulations because nothing lower could create us, but also it just means straight up no. It could never be that, these things are going to give people life. That also touches too on the whole sexual morality thing we're doing with sex bots. It's quite simple. No, it doesn't replace a relationship. It can never have emotions nor feelings. It's just simulating emotions, what they should feel like. Yet it has no idea what emotions like, so it just has to imitate what it's supposed to be. It's depressing, and it's not true. It's fake. It's a fraud. It's a big, fat, phony pile of styrofoam trying to pretend to be a person with metal and, I don't know, maybe even clay, flesh stuck all inside of it. What does it all mean anyway? It's not real. A man, if you rip him out of his body, is dead. So if the thing that God creates without a spirit loses life, then what on earth is the point when you try to put something without life to begin with into like a living existence, when you don't realize the fact that you have no power to create such life? Men can create, they can create life, but they can't exactly give a soul. Only God can do that. If God doesn't will a child, the child kind of dies in the womb, or it doesn't even cease to be or it ceases to be formed. It just kind of dissolves. Not because it's bad, but because simply put, he never willed that child to be. That's kind of how actual, proper, controlled birthing works. It's never a thing of, oh, God's going to make you pop out kids and yet he wants you to have sex frequently. No, it means to have, yes, frequently rejoice and embrace your partner, love them, and spend as many enthusiastic and ambrosiatic experiences with them as possible. And all jubilation that you do in everything in life, not just sexual things. Enjoy your weddings, enjoy your anniversaries, enjoy your happy moments together. When your kids are annoying you, laugh about it. When you're in the shower and you slip up and you get water and soap in your friend's eye, or you end up, pulling out the hair by accident of your lifelong friend, or the water is getting hot, and you start warring with each other and stuff, you had an argument, at least try to make good on it and laugh about it and try to make something right that you made wrong in the past. Try to mediate your problems. Try to remand your wrongdoings against one another. Don't just hate each other and hold it against it. Have some forgiveness and in-depth reconciliation and refurbishing of your relationship. Try to refurniture it. Try to repair. Try to mend it again and renew your relationship. Try. The Bible never demands you to make it right exactly. It does ask you to, but it doesn't make you have to do it because Jesus told to it. Just show him that you're willing at least. And don't think that it's just that God's going to try to force you to do things, because he doesn't. He never did. Not even in my case. I never was forced to come to him. I genuinely wanted to come to him. I wanted to live for him, even if it meant doing what was hard. So, look, okay? I've got to head to bed soon. What time is it? Oh boy. I can't even see the clock. The point is the fact that... the point is the fact that it really doesn't matter about all this ridiculous stuff, Things might seem that they're being embraced away, might be all seen being apoptos away, apoptosated, and, in how I say this, They might be seen to be invisibilized and being erased out of existence, but in reality, well, might think that they're being how do I say this? Abrasured away out of ceasing, out of being. What's actually going on is that things might not seem to be apparent, seem to make much sense, might not seem much rationality, be much significance or point or purpose, but at the end of the day, everything God does has a purpose. So at least try to remember that, okay? Your life means something, and you shouldn't throw it away. You shouldn't hate it. Everything means something. Every little struggle, every little pain, what hurt means a little thing, okay? A little depression, every single little bout of sadness and anxiety, all bring you up to be a stronger person. Every bit. And it is true. Okay? It really is. Trust God, please, okay? Have some love for Him. I believe that He really can overcome things, can make your life beautiful, and can renew it as the stars of the morning do, and the grass feel that He lifts them up in the morning, even though He burns them in the night. It doesn't matter. He will indeed resurrect them. Believe in that, all right? He will lift you up. Your happiness and your smile and your face as new as the morning, all right? Please, believe that He will uplift you, okay? He will poise you and resurrect you again in the morning. Please. Believe that He will regenerate and replenish you and restore your spirit and your essence, and that He will make you a new person every day. He will lift you up to become someone who really stand up for themselves, retreat against the things of life, who can be strong against it, and who can weather all storms, who can really be someone, okay? Who can help and strengthen and beat and pulverize their kids into something much stronger, okay? Because life's going to beat them harder. So when you beat them, how do I say this? Pulverize, and make them much stronger than even that, all right? Really. And we grindiate every single little detail. You know, how do I say this? Vindicate every single little flaw in your children and make sure you become strong, at least someone, please. Even if your brother, your sister, whatever. Try to lift them up, okay? God bless. I love you.